Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now. Before we do start, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of things have happened. We had Deku and his crew, Bakugo, Momo, Lillian, and Asui. These five found themselves up in the sky. Unbeknownst to them, they're following leads about a city made of gold, and that has certainly led them to quite a few places. Now, Deku, he has put a few pieces together, and thanks to Momo, they were able to get here by stepping through a mirror. Now, Jaya, the land of pirates, a island for pirates that has water jets that shoot upwards into the sky a lot, 5 times a month. This causes quite a few things to happen, and there are rumors that the city of gold sank into the ocean. However, Deku and his team are discovering those rumors. They don't exactly lead down, they lead up. Now, they were able to put some of the pieces together. And right now, Deku, he doesn't actually walk over and open the door. Them stepping out to see Angel Island, a place that's remarkably strange. And Deku just look around. He expected to see a dome when he looked up, not the blue sky above. And that certainly was quite strange. And people, they actually saw him going to turn and see Deku and his crew. And that does mean quite a number of things. Now, Deku expects everyone to look and stare at them, like they are strangers. Probably weird, because they all look the same, but they just don't have wings on their back. However, people don't look at them oddly. They just stare at him and move along their day for a second. Oh, why was he in that house? Oh well, so he hasn't been struck down, so he must not have done anything bad. Anyways, I'll go along with my day. That right now is on their mind. And some people, they don't even really pay attention. They're just doing things. And that confuses Deku. He actually started bringing his hand out and stopped somebody. Hi, can I ask you a few questions? Hmm? Oh, sure you can. Are you tourist around here? You could say that, yes. I'm a little confused as to where we are. You see, we've gotten a little lost. I see. Well, that's certainly strange. This is Angel Island. And, well, where are you trying to go? We're just looking around a bit. You know, it just, that's all. I see. Well, I'd suggest the beach. It's a good spot as any. Though, if you do want, you can head to some of the local stores around here. Stores? Yes. Well, sorry, I do have to cut this short. I have to be about my day. The person gonna turn and walk away. And Deku does get a look around. It certainly is a weird place. And they do so gonna take the advice. They look around some of the stores. And they do find that there are a few things different here already. The people here don't accept their cash. So there's that. And Deku, he does even try to ask a few other questions. I mean, he just wants to know more and more about this place. He hears about Upper Yard, he hears about a few other places, and it just seems weird. But this place, Upper Yard, it's seen as a holy land. And from what Deku can tell, it's gotta be that hill out in the distance, right? I mean, the massive thing over there, that must be Jaya. The part of it that got blasted up into the air, but how the hell is an island floating? And that's on his mind. And Deku, he's trying to wrap his mind all around that. It just seems weird. As currently everyone, they were still looking around. And Deku, he was going to finally walk over to the beach. Him actually, so I'm going to look around and see something quite odd. It's like the regular home, but still so weird. Now, Deku's staring around, seeing people ride around on something, as he is actually a little bit more curious. And currently someone, they do just don't stand up. Gonna turn and walk over. And Deku, he actually does feel someone bring their hand up and tap him on his shoulder. Huh? Hello? Uh, hi. You must be new around here. Are you guys lost? No, no, we're not. It's just things are a little strange. What exactly do you mean? You must be from the Blue Sea. Yes, that would be correct. Ooh, I, I'm certainly intrigued by a few of these things, but those vehicles. You mean the waiver? Yes, the waiver. What exactly is it? Oh, we created them so that they could go along, well, the clouds. It's just, those clouds aren't solid, so we can't walk on them. They're said to have the, oh, what's the word? They're said to be like the blue sea below, where things will fall into them. And if you fall through them, you'll end up in the White Sea. The what? The White Sea. The cloud furthest down. You know what that is, right? Yeah, we do. White Sea. Okay, that's odd. Would you like to try and give that thing a ride? Hmm? Yeah, I would. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. Connus. My name is Connus. But, I should warn you, these things are rather difficult to drive. Deku gonna turn, and Curly says to walk over. Her gonna actually bring her hand down and pointing over to one, talking about it. She can give them a, well, bit of help trying to start them and show them how they work. Though she is worried about how exactly they might react to them. They're fairly hard to control, and if you're not careful enough, you'll fall over. Though you should be fine if you hold on to it. Right. Fascinating. Curly Deku bring his hands down, going onto the bike, quote unquote, and hopping on. And Connor starts to walk Deku through it. And Deku finds it to be very odd. It's a lot like a motorcycle, or no, it is like a jet ski. I mean, this right here is the accelerator, and this right here just help turn, and a few of these other buttons. They're odd. Now, Kona's just trying to explain to Deku what to do. And currently Bakugo, he has to hop on another one, and he's only going to turn his head to Deku, talking about how he wants to race him. And Deku does a turn, as right now Konas does a turn her head, watching as Momo does a stand there, along with Asui. The two are still somewhat concerned about a lot of things. First of all, apparently this place is up in the air, so they want to know how that works, and why that massive mountain over there has these strange vines connected to it. I mean, is that what holds the island in place? In a way, landlocked? It certainly is weird. And that's the main question they all do have. And right now, Deku, he's just gonna drive forwards on the waiver. As Bakugo, he's to chase after him a bit more alarmed. Since this thing, it definitely does feel like a motorcycle. Though, he feels like he's dragging against the concrete. And it definitely is not fun. Now, Deku, he does try to drive this thing, and he does find it to be rather difficult. It's a bit odd, but it's certainly okay. So Deku gonna straighten it out, and currently driving into the distance, trying to just have a bit of fun. Him gonna actually spin the bike around as Bakugo, he is staring at Deku. I'm a bit more annoyed looking at a few of the things he does have next to his hand. And currently Bakugo is going to move it down a bit more and increase in speed. The waiver going to somewhat move back and forth again. As currently Bakugo, he does going to try and turn, and he does turn a little sharp. Him almost knocking himself over, as currently he is flying his way through the clouds. Now, we do cut to land. Right now Deku and Bakugo, the two are going to drive past. And Momo is trying to ask. This certainly is quite intriguing. Hmm? What do you mean? Don't you have these type of things down below? We have something similar, but It's just impressive. This place is up in the sky. How does that work? How does what work? The sky, everything. I'm just, we're confused about it a lot, and this is insane. Really? Okay, so, well, I don't know how to explain it, but it's all from Enel. Enel? God. Your God's name is Enel. Yes, he is rather, well, merciful. He allows us to do a few things, and he's certainly helping us keep our society peaceful. Really? And how has he done so? He he makes sure to punish those who are wicked. Punish? Wicked? Then we're going to turn to Asui. And Asui just trying to flat out ask a question. So, their god is said to punish people for their crimes? Yes, he does so on the spot. Though, one of the most heinous crimes out there is refusing his existence. Really? Yes. I, um, I know it must be difficult for an outsider to understand. Hers going to turn her head, and Momo's going to try and catch that. Difficult for an outsider to understand. Why is she talking in the third person? Like there's someone listening to them. Now, Momo does a look around, and currently Anel does it a watch on. Him a bit more intrigued by what these people might have to say. They're already criminals. They're already people who should not be here. If they cannot pay the fine, well, his little show is going to be cancelled. So, let's see what they'll do. That right now in his mind. He's quite intrigued. He wants to know how this might end. I mean, going through a mirror, these people are certainly quite interesting. And, where would it come from? What type of ability is that? He's never seen powers like that before. None of them at play like that. It's fascinating. Is this woman perhaps a goddess? Someone else with strange abilities like him? I mean, it certainly would explain a few things. Though, a god coming to undermine him. That certainly is something that he does not like. He'll have to take care of that soon. Though, for now he does want to observe. Will they listen to him? Will they follow the rules? Or are they like the people he has to deal with on the daily? Refuse his existence? And be struck down for it. It certainly is quite interesting to him right now. And that does say quite a lot of things. As currently Deku does a drive back over and put on his foot, him setting it down directly on the solid surface, or the solid cloud. And he's going to bring his hand up, talking about it. You know, these aren't too dissimilar from motorbikes in Japan. Hmm? You, you're writing a waiver. Yeah, don't feel too bad. You said they're difficult to drive, but once you kind of know what the buttons do, it's actually a little easier. Though, it's more like a jet ski. Really? Well, we're gonna turn and walk over, talking about how she wants to hop on. Yeah, sure. Deku actually is going to turn and throw his leg over, getting off the bike as he actually to have Momo directly climb on. And Asui just to ask if she could have a chance to ride that one too. Yeah, you can. Though I'm surprised they don't just try and jump in the clouds. That was a weird fucking sentence. What do you mean? Well, I'm assuming it's like a river, a lake, kinda? Connus, staring at the two, a bit confused. They don't know what some of those words mean. And that certainly is a bit of a problem. Now, Deku, he does get to watch Momo right off. As Bakugo, he still is driving around on the waiver a bit more out of control. Now, there's a look out into the distance, watching Bakugo and starting to laugh to himself. Astronaut continues to walk over and turn, asking exactly what the land below is like. Hmm? Oh, it's a bit strange, but we manage. I hear that down below it's dangerous. There's tales of things down there. And, well, you have to deal with the large shrimp, right? Shrimp? Yes, the creatures in the clouds. Don't they exist below? Do you mean sea kings? Sea what? There's massive creatures that exist in the ocean. That's a difficult thing to grasp for some people, but some can be as large as an island, others can be as large as a mountain. Mountain? They're going to turn, expressing going to bring him his hand. It may not be a good example, but there are sea kings out there that can be as large, if not half the size of the giant island up there. He's assuming she understands how big that place is, right? Um, that's a hard concept to understand, but this land here is largest, and where did your friends go? Hmm? They're looking around. Bakugo is, well, he's losing control of that thing, isn't he? Okay, well, he's fine. Uh, hmm, I don't see them. This is bad. Hmm? If they go to the upper yard, they'll be in massive amount of trouble. It's sacred land. I see. They're going to make his hand up and whistle out for everyone. As great there is for Deku, he does could actually watch. Bakugo turning his head as he is at a wipe out drinking a cloud. And Deku, he does a stir on. Bakugo trying to actually get out of the quote unquote water as he does get back to the waver. I'm going to grab onto the side of it and press the buttons, as it actually move directly through the clouds and start to make its way towards the shore. And Deku does still go to look around. Asui and Momo can't be seen, so that's a bit annoying. Okay, well, I'll be right back. They're going to look up and blast up into the air, a few feet, and currently Deku, he has to make a construct under his feet. Him going to actually land directly on a piece of light. Now, Deku doesn't want to sit there. Him would actually step up into the air and bring his foot back down. Him going to create a construct. As the moment his foot does actually touch onto it, he does a leap up again. Now, Deku is trying to look around, and currently their actions Rakonis does look up a bit more alarmed. Deku turned into he moved, and oh, what is he doing up there? It's bright, and that doesn't worry her. Staring out towards the sun, as a man flies above her, and it's kind of alarming. And Deku, he has to see Asui and Momo. The two currently going to spin back around as they're being chased by something, and that does get Deku's attention. Him going to actually bring his finger down and thinking about what to do, as currently he actually is falling down out of the air very slowly. And Deku actually pull his hand back, thinking about how that might cause more damage. Though, a quick burst. Okay, so let's do that. Deku bring his hand down, and blasting out a pillar of light. Now, the small beams fly through the air, smashing into the creature as the creature fall down into the clouds. And Deku, he actually doesn't turn and leap backwards. Him going to actually create a pillar or something to stand on, and going to actually do so. Deku going to take a few steps backwards in the air. Him using the constructs under his feet. Now, Deku's actually going to land on the ground. And this is where Bakugo, he does still going to stand there. Him going to actually bring him his hand and asking, what the hell could he do that? Trust me. It's a bit challenging sometimes, but it's worth it. What do you mean worth it? You can fly. Somewhat. A bit challenging, but it's hard to express. I I don't know the best way to explain it. I make most of my body weightless, but I only create a piece of construct under my foot. Kind of like a shoe, I guess. It's hard to explain. But I shoot it out of my foot and detach it. I step on it very quickly, and then I just walk on it. I mean, I can control light. You, you're like, we're gonna somewhat catch yourself. Almost seem like he's like a Nell. And Deku doesn't see that. Her gonna don't turn, expressing about how she'd like them to come to her home for dinner. Hmm? Sure. Uh, though, I gotta ask. Hmm? There's something weird about this place. Do you mind telling us? I can, but I don't believe that it would be appropriate here. Sure. Now, Blockers just step forwards, bringing his hand up onto her shoulder. And right now he says, so give her a look. And then right now she does this turn to stare at Bakugo. Bakugo using Haki to try and read her. And he can tell that something is off. She's confused. There's a few things going through her head that don't make sense. And she's trying to process a few other things. This might be normal to them, but this is weird to her. While this place is weird to them, but normal to her. It's a very awkward and backward situation for a second. And their actions are Momo and Asui did actually crash into the shore with the waiver. As Ren and Momo just want to turn and go to look back, as Deku's to walk over and tell her that she's fine. You don't even know what we saw out there. A giant thing tried to eat us. I know. I killed it. You. Oh, thank God. Okay. So what's going on now? We were invited to dinner. Really? Yes. I have many questions I wish to ask, and a lot of things I hope I can get you to clear up for me. Uh, sure. Though, there are a few questions I myself do want to ask. Now, everyone they do get to leave, and that is where things are a bit strange. Right now, they head back to her home, and they go to meet her father, and they do all sit down for a meal. And the conversation goes a bit strangely. She tries to bring up Enel, and how he can strike down the heretics, anyone who refuses to acknowledge him as a true deity. And that to Deku, it seems a bit strange. Right now he thinks that Enel is this long dead ruler, someone who was probably crazy with power. Or maybe at one point in history, he may have been an actual god on this island. Maybe, though, that secret land, upper yard, or whatever they called it, maybe that's the place they're talking about. Maybe that's the place where things are. Well, this guy might be if he's real or actually exist. I mean, it would make sense. Now, right now we do actually have the White Berets, who they do come to knock on the door, and that is where her father says stand up and walk over. Opening it up, as Amanda says push forwards, expressing about how they are harboring fugitives that Anel wishes to question. And that's when the man is a turn. Him staring at the people sitting at his dinner table. As the man standing there does a turn, expressing, they do not wish to anger God. Allow them to pay the toll and pay their, well, ticket. Ticket? They're going to stand up and walk over, bring his hands up, directly to his pockets, and putting his fingers inside. Him putting his hands down, asking the men, what are they talking about? You pay your fine. You're on the island. You're here illegally. What? You came here without paying through Heaven's Gate. You you are a fugitive, a criminal of Enel, and he does not tolerate criminals. Pay your fee, and things will be okay. Listen, you gotta understand. We're just trying to keep peace and we're following our orders. Right. Okay, how much is this fee? Deku's would actually untense his shoulders. These guys didn't come here for a fight. I mean, he can read them. They're foot soldiers. Though they're afraid. This guy must be real. Okay, so he's a dictator. Rules over them with an iron fist. Deku thinks the words, he's not a god. And Deku, he does actually have those words ring out in Enel's ear. The man using observation hockey could get a sense on everything. Though he could see the way Deku somewhat relaxed a bit. No fear. No, well, idea of what he's doing. And that somewhat unnerved the man. He didn't like it. Deku was calm about everything, relaxed even. And hearing about how he'd strike him down, it meant nothing to him. Though he wants to hear him say it out loud. He doesn't want to just attack willy-nilly. If he does that right now, there could be problems. I mean, those... Well, he doesn't care about those men, but the city. They would not understand. Killing all of them at once. I mean, a mass group of heretics. This could be seen as. But if any of them do survive, they wouldn't have heard a renouncement. He always likes to let them know. Let them know what they said wrong. Let it be the last words they speak. It is his divine punishment, other than his own power. And the man does stare on, as Deku does really try to talk about exactly what this fine might be, and how much it might cost. And right now the man does try to tell Deku about how much it is, and Deku is a bit confused, since, well, he tried to hand the man cash, but he didn't take it. He called it useless. And Deku, yeah, let's see. He hears about how their exchange rate is about 10,000 of their dollars or currency to $1 of his. And Deku, he has to look down. So the fine's about 100 million and wait. So there's 5 of them, and so that means 500 grand. Okay, so well, shit. They're gonna look up towards the men, expressing to them. He kinda doesn't have that kind of cash on him. And they do just stare at Deku a little bit more alarmed, expressing about what they'll have to do then. If they cannot pay the fine, then they must be set adrift. And Deku, he does stare at the man, telling him, is he really just trying to do this not to anger Enel? You who don't speak that way. Don't question him. You seem afraid. You seem scared. Trust me, I can read you. Now, there's a step forwards. The man gonna back away. If Enel's about to strike this man down, he does not want to be close to him. He's not, well, he's not gonna die this way, man. And Deku does a step forwards. The man's still backing away. They're gonna walk outside and look around, as some people do just stare on to see Deku. As Deku's gonna bring him his hand, expressing to the man. He's dealt with a few threats in his lifetime. He's battled against men. He's battled against groups of them. He's battled against evil. And he's even battled against creatures that he would see kill ordinary people. I mean, he's been to places where things have been crazy. But this place certainly is loony. And that says quite a bit compared to where he's been to. Now, the guys that stand there, and Deku's at a turn. As their actions were Kanas does a run out and grab quickly onto Deku's arm. Her telling him to stop. I didn't do anything wrong. You're gonna anger him. Why? Don't you question why he's like that? quick to anger. You must stop. Her letting go of Deku's arm, and Deku turned to her, telling her, Anel claims to be a god, but if he's a god, why does he rule through fear? He's seen what real gods are. He knows what some can do. He's heard stories, myths, and legends, but he does have to tell her. Anel is just a man. And Deku, the moment he does say those words, Anel's gonna stand up. I'm a lot more annoyed, bringing his hand up and grabbing onto a lightning bolt, creating it in his hand and gonna actually throw it down, striking it directly at Deku. And other people to turn and run. As Kanes does a turn and stare at Deku, Deku gonna actually turn his head and go to get a sense for it. And I'm gonna spin around and bring up his hand, blasting away the lightning bolt as everyone is gonna watch it get struck directly in the air, it dispersing and letting out a loud krakoom. And people, they do get a turn back, and Deku has to stare up towards upper yard. So, he is a real man, but calling himself a deity, quite the fucking ego on him, isn't there? Now, Deku's a turn, and try and tell them about what's going to happen. And Deku's then going to turn back to Kanes, telling her that he's going to go deal with her, well, ruler. You're going to try and kill Anel? I am. Though I'm sure he already knows that he does have quite a bit of a problem with me. Deku turning back. As you're on Anel, he does get a bit more annoyed. Striking Deku down is going to have to come now. I'm going to stand up. And I'm going to turn, yelling out to his men about what to do, and what he wants all of them to do. It'll certainly be quite interesting. He thought that Deku, he could bring the heretic here if he does need to. He could do something himself. Have his priest strike the man down and call it that. Though he was called just a man, and that he will not accept. And Deku, he currently use observation hockey. Him going to actually feel something moving towards him. As Deku, he does go to turn. Him blitzing himself up in the air as General comes to watch Deku fly away in a beam of light. Deku going to actually fly up into the air as General Deku, he does go to land in upper yard. I'm going to turn and look around. Definitely quite the interesting place. And there actually is Anel, who does a turn and bring his hand up. I'm going to try and throw down a lightning bolt towards somebody else, since if he can't make Deku the example, he'll at least kill some of the people he does know. And currently there actually is Bakugo. Bakugo, the one who's hear the lightning, he does a turn. Him feeling it fly through the air as he bring up his hand. Him going to throw out his hand and slash upwards without drawing a sword. And now Bakugo does a cut the lightning bolt in half. Now, Bakugo does a turn, and everyone they do something to stare on at Bakugo. As Bakugo's arm, it doesn't smoke. Him pulling it backwards and telling everyone that if they aren't ready to attack, stay near him, since clearly the boss is handling something. Though it does seem like this Anel guy, he certainly is a bit annoying. Now, currently Deku is standing there in upper yard, as the priest make their way down to Angel Island. And Deku, he has a look up, looking around, and we do actually have Anel right now, who he is quite annoyed, because this looks like a job for him. Now, with that being said, if you guys enjoyed, and yes, I'm kinda not doing it the way I heard Skypiea goes, but I'm gonna be honest. I wanted to bring Anel in, and I might save some time by just cutting down a few things or the priest ordeals, maybe break it down to Deku's crewmates fighting those guys. So, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you guys in the next part.